Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going deep, really deep, into something I think you'll find super interesting.
Yeah, this is one of those topics that
It's fascinating.
you think you know what it is,
Right.
and then
Then you realize there's so much more to it.
it's way more than that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are talking Ninpo Taijutsu.
Yes,
And-
and I am so excited to dive into this.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, there's so much more to this than just,
Right.
fighting and
Martial arts.
martial arts. It's the philosophy behind it. It's a whole way of life, a way
Yeah.
of approaching challenges.
And being in the world.
Yes.
So when we think of ninjas,
Right.
we often think of, the
Stealth.
dark clothing, the stealth.
Yeah, the spies, the
espionage.
assassins. Even.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But really what we're going to find today is that there's a deeper philosophy underpinning all that.
Much deeper.
Yeah. So let's start. I think a great place to start is a quote, actually,
That's a great idea.
from Soke Hatsumi,
Yeah.
the Grand Master of Ninpo Taijutsu.
Yes.
And he said, the true goal of Ninpo Taijutsu is not to defeat an opponent, but to cultivate a life of fortune and harmony.
Whoa. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement. And I think, when you hear that, you start to realize that it's
something more.
Yeah.
It's not just about,
winning
a fight or, being the best fighter.
It's not just about combat at all.
Right.
Right. It's really about living a good life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you think...
How does that translate into...
Yeah, how does that translate into...
I think one of the most important aspects of Ninpo Taijutsu that reflects that is this idea of adaptability.
Okay.
And one of the really cool things about Ninpo Taijutsu, in my opinion, is that there are no...
Like hard and fast rules. There are no strong techniques.
Right.
And weak techniques. There's just...
It depends.
It's how you adapt to the circumstance.
So can you give an example?
If you think about a battlefield, right, and you have, a ninja assessing the situation,
right,
they're not looking for the most aggressive attack, necessarily. They're looking for what is the most advantageous position. How can they use the environment to their advantage?
How can they use their opponent's energy against them?
Exactly. So...
It's about using the least amount of force necessary to achieve the desired outcome.
So they, rather than meeting force with force, they might redirect.
Redirect it.
Yeah, they might blend with it.
Yeah, blend with it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which is also a core principle of Ninpo Taijutsu, right?
Yeah.
Blending, flowing, adapting.
So what does that look like?
Well, it's not just about physical.
In real life.
In real life, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about physical movements. It's also about your mindset, your attitude, your approach to life in general.
Right.
So, I mean, a simple example, you're at work and you're having, a conflict with a coworker.
Right.
Now, if you approach that with a very rigid, forceful attitude, like I'm right, you're wrong, you're probably just going to escalate the conflict.
And nothing good is going to come of that.
Right. Exactly.
Whereas if you can adapt to the situation, you can understand their perspective.
Understand where they're coming from.
Even try to use their energy to create a positive outcome.
Yeah, maybe you can even use their resistance to fuel your own creativity.
To come to a different solution.
Elaborative solution.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Right. So, I mean...
So it's about being more...
It's about being flexible, being adaptable, being able to flow with the circumstances.
Which really seems to fly in the face of what we
traditionally think of as a ninja.
Yeah. Right? We think of them as,
Right, very rigid.
Rigid, stealthy.
Disciplined, yes.
Yeah.
But really what we're talking about here...
We're talking about a much deeper understanding...
Is the philosophy.
Yeah, philosophy of resilience.
Of resilience, of
inner strength.
Inner strength.
Of finding a way to...
Yeah, to just survive.
Not just survive, but thrive in any situation. And
again, goes back to Hatsumi's
quote,
Quote, which is, the goal is not to defeat the opponent.
Right.
But to cultivate a life.
Of fortune and harmony.
For fortune and harmony. And he also said something else.
Yes.
I found this really interesting.
He said a lot of interesting things.
He did.
Yeah.
But he said that...
he said that real ninjutsu
is not for assassins.
Is not for assassins or wrongdoers. But for those
who wish to cultivate perseverance and endurance in order to find better ways of leading a happy life.
So really it is about...
It's about cultivating,
a better life for yourself.
Yeah, a happier life.
Right. Using these principles.
Absolutely.
Of flexibility, adaptability,
inner strength.
Inner strength.
So much more.
So much more.
And just fighting techniques.
Than just fighting technique. It's really
It's a philosophy for life.
Of being.
Absolutely.
This has been so interesting.
Yeah, it's been a great conversation.
And I hope for all of you listening out there, it gives you something to think about in terms of how you approach
the challenges.
The challenges in your own life.
Yeah.
Whether it's at work, at home, relationships.
How can you apply these principles?
Yeah, how can you use these ideas
of Ninpo Taijutsu
to cultivate a better life?
Yeah.
For yourself. All right, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
See ya.